Hello everyone, this is Created in Barcelona, a show dedicated to discovering some of the city's young creative professionals who are defining the current trends in design, photography, craft, gastronomy, film and music, not just locally but also internationally. Created in Barcelona takes a closer look at the local artists who are changing the game. Young visionaries who keep the city's heart pulsing, drawing attention from the eyes of the world. On today's episode, we focus on the creative director, designer, and visual artist Mau Morgó. After working as a designer for award-winning studios, he continued to evolve as an artist and went on to work on music videos for A$AP Rocky, Aphex Twin, Rosalía, and most recently, the queen of pop herself, Madonna.
We are here in San Felipe Neri. Could you explain why this place is so special for you?
Every time I have a hard time in personal stuff, I always end up here for some reason. And I think I love it because it's so beautiful, but at the same time, the story behind it is so hard. They closed San Felipe Neri for the kids to play because there's a school there. But they're playing in a place where they killed a ton of kids at the same time. So that's the
irony. So you staged your own death. How did you come back to life?
I staged it at the festival of. That was my first speech in the public, and we bought like a fake gun. And I gave her instructions about you can just kill me whenever you want. Like if you want to jump in the middle of the speech, just do it. Two security guys that were two friends that just picked me up and pulled me out, and we run out of the festival. So that was like leaving behind my past as a designer, and like now shifting more as an artist, I think.
And you brought something back from the other side.
Like he's like the little monster we all have inside of us. He appeared after this year because they were giving me an award at New York, at the Young Guns Award. There's an award they give to creatives under 30, and I never feel too comfortable doing like this type of things. So he just expressed freely. I'm not in charge anymore. Like whenever there's like pictures, like he normally is the face. Like he's Mau Morgó, that's the guy.
These days you're constantly traveling forward and back between different cities. Do you ever get homesick?
Homesickness comes especially from food. No, eat. I'm okay. Oh, you want me to feed you? Okay. You're feeding the monster. Yeah, we're here at Haddock. That's my father's restaurant, and it's the perfect cuisine for me, which is just Mediterranean. It's just like strong flavors. There's no fancy laws.
No fusion.
No fusion. Just you mix up everything. It's fish, meat, vegetables, and my father's always here. So every time I come back to the city, we organize like a dinner. And we just drink a lot and eat a lot. That's the thing we do.
What has been like the craziest idea that you've had that somebody was like, you know what, I trust you, do that?
Set, probably. Imagine you're in a traffic jam, just waiting, and like this huge foot comes to your right. It's just standing there. It would be quite like making your life a bit better for like 5 minutes.
You made that during a time where it was like a bit difficult for you personally?
I was fucked up, yeah.
So
I was going through a really hard situation.
How does that fuel your creativity?
That project took me out of all the problems and this.
What have you learned from the artists you've been working with?
I've learned that everyone has a different process and a different approach to their art. And you can see the different approaches when there's some people that trust in the directors, and others that don't. And with Rosalía, you can read her perfectly. Like you can see where she's going, that she trusts in talent, she trusts in you, and there's like a relationship with you. But with people like Madonna, for example, it's more like she knows the game already. She knows what she's doing. And at the end, you discover she was playing with you absolutely. And I think this music business and all this entertainment business is always based on trust and manipulation a bit, and you think it's something pure, and most of the time it's not. So I'm learning like life lessons, basically. You learn the real thing behind those artists. Okay.
Today is a very special episode because we are actually in Primavera Sound recording. And I would like to ask, for those of the people who are listening and don't know you, what is it you do?
That's probably the most difficult question to answer.
How would you describe it?
No, I mean, I think the answer is within the question. I do a million things and nothing at the same time. But mainly I have ideas and try to execute them in the most impressive ways and always try to make iconic moments. But I do from installations to experiences. Now I'm getting into music videos through my girlfriend Diana.
Shout out to Diana's in the studio.
Yeah. Yeah. But now music videos I've been doing. I was a graphic designer before, but not anymore. But the things I've learned there, I'm trying to put them into practice and all the different stuff I'm doing. But mainly I create experiences, either for film or for people to live and remember eventually.
So the sentence that I found while researching a bit of your work, I really liked, and I'm gonna read it out loud. Creating experiences in images for our evolving digital reality.
Yeah.
So did you go like a conventional path of studying? Could you describe what your pathway was to get where you're now?
No, it's not conventional at all. I went from studying graphic design to be working a small studio, and we turned it big. Got extremely bored and thought I was like lying to everyone with my design. And then I started getting into 3D and started experimenting a lot. Like all my knowledge comes from the internet. And I think that opened a lot of doors to thinking I'm able to do whatever I want. And that lack of fear and lack of knowledge pushed me into places is where I am right now. That's why I'm not really forward thinking with universities and studying. I think it's just people just like Google it, like go on Google and search it.
Agree.
Like, Mau, how do you do this? Like, there's a tutorial on YouTube. And just do it.
Definitely.
And I end up doing music videos because I always love music, and all my projects are always music based. There's also huge inspiration about music, and I'm not sure if I'm answering your question.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah. So how did you know this is what you wanted to do with your life? Was it like as you were a kid growing up, you're like, I wanna...
I don't know. When I was younger, I wanted to be a fixer. Like, I wanted to fix stuff.
MacGyver?
Like what?
MacGyver.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah,
Okay,
but I just
next.
wanted to fix stuff. But normally I just break them. I just break stuff and then never fix them because I get bored about... When I understand how it works, I get bored. And that bored, like, getting bored so fast, it's been feeding this monster that lives inside that just keeps going and going and going, like more knowledge, more knowledge, more knowledge, more knowledge. And now I end up with a huge ball of knowledge that I don't know what to do with it. And every time I get into projects, like bigger projects and more experimental, and without, like I say yes to stuff, I have no clue how I'm gonna do it. And I think that's the process, like that's how I end up doing what I'm doing. It's just getting bored about stuff and keep on like Googling for knowledge.
Cool. So where do you think this creative mind comes from? As a child, your family influences? Because you said you were fearless, and many times our parents make us fearless or they make us being very fearful. So maybe you can explain a bit where your basics come from, like what made your character the way it is.
I guess my family, but I mean my mother has a factory, a plastic factory, like acrylics.
Okay.
And my father was distributing food to restaurants and hotels. But then he opened a jazz club where there's many weird things happening inside, like bondage concerts, like jazz concerts mixing with bondage and shibari, and like girls tied up in the roof and eating sushi over a girl. I remember that, being like 15. I think that shaped a lot about, okay, you can do whatever you want if you're not harming people. And I think that shaped a bit. And then obviously the internet hit me really hard. I had, and I think I still have an addiction to internet, and that is what shaped, like that mix. Also going to American school, I think it shifted me a bit like not knowing where my place was, like all these weird kids in the same school from different countries was different to a typical Barcelona.
Yeah, you're in touch with different cultures, different nationalities, and it opens your mind for sure. We tend to remember the artists who move differently from the rest, and many film critics or video critics, they love to draw comparisons between different filmmakers. Do you struggle to not repeat the great ideas that have existed?
I think everything has been done already. We're really good cocktail makers, but we're not inventing anything, any drink. And there's like a thing that Carlota like told me once is like we're only channels. Like we get information and we
Downloads.
and yeah, we get information and then we spit it out. So your ideas are not your ideas. Forget about it. No. So what was the question?
No, it's fine. We can
Okay.
move on. What would you say are recognizable elements in your work that make you unique? Like Carlota Guerrero, for example, we had her on the first episode, and her visuals are instantly recognizable. So what would you say is something similar in what you express?
I still don't think I have one really like recognizable style, but everything is kind of dark and there's always contrast. Like I love contrast. I like acting like a child while I'm holding a knife, for example. That kind of contrast is the things that I like, and I'm trying to put it always like
Danger.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of the age we're living. Like people, there's contrast everywhere. It's like everywhere there's a huge contrast, and when you hit someone with a contrast like that, they remember it. Like, okay, I thought you were one thing, but now you're the other thing. How can you be both of them? It's like I can be a million different people at the same time. And I try, like, and when we're directing and when I'm doing experiences, there's always a small twist about trying to make people think about it. Like, why is he doing this? Sometimes they think I'm stupid, which I agree, but sometimes they think the ideas are good, which sometimes I agree and sometimes no. But contrast would be the answer to your question.
The main thing that you were saying you do is creating experiences. Do you think experiences are the new frontier?
Yeah, I mean, we need to get out of our mobile phones ASAP. Like,
What about virtual reality, though?
fuck it, it's not reality. I have no clue why they're calling virtual reality, because it's not even close to reality. You're wearing I've done a million things with it. Actually, I did an exhibition at Palais de Tokyo in Paris about meditation through virtual reality, and we were trying to make people meditate with virtual reality, but not like doing like it's a white space with a black dot. No, what we were doing is we're trying to do the meditation for the modern times, where basically we're overloading people with senses.
Okay.
So it was like collapsing everyone, like all the senses they had, with visuals and sound. It was nice. It was like, but then I got bored with virtual reality, and I thought people were just using virtual reality to sell. It's like, hey, look, virtual reality. Okay.
But aren't there also like movies nowadays where it's like virtual reality and you can like choose the end that you want? Like it depends on if you open the door right in the movie of the virtual reality, it ends up
There's an experience in LA called The Void, which is quite nice, that you're wearing like this headset and a backpack with a computer, and you can walk and you can get like a shotgun and start shooting stormtroopers.
Nice.
And it's nice. I mean, you
Okay.
actually feel it because there's haptic, like there's like when they shoot you, you feel like it's like
vibration or something.
vibration, yeah. And there's like you need to walk through like a bridge, and the floor moves, so
Okay.
it tricks more senses.
Yeah, it's
than
the whole
just-
body kind of experience.
If you want to do virtual reality, you have to do the 5 senses. If not, it's not reality. Whenever we do the 5 senses, okay, I'm down. Like, yeah, like trick my olfato.
And it's interesting that you say that, because there's this huge trend also to be in like one of those senseless cubes where there's no sense at all. So it's interesting that we're playing with senses.
Is that Instagram? Like the white cube where there's nothing?
No, I think it's a no, it's a black cube. No, I don't know, but you know these like sense deprivation tanks, they're called, where you
Yeah.
go in and you're like floating and there's like black, no noise, no smell. So it's interesting that both things are being explored right now. Do you want to say anything more about experiences?
I think
People
it's
need
the
to
only,
get out.
No, I mean, so when I do something for a client, I know what client wants. They want just an Instagrammable moment. Like, they want that. And I try, and with Diana we spoke a lot, we're trying to run away from that. But we're trying to make people run away from their phones, like create something that's like, what the fuck is here? Like, and forget about their phones, at least for 1 minute. If I can achieve that, I'm happy. I don't care about the others.
So the difference is what the client wants to achieve and what do you think our generation wants to experience?
Our generation wants success. I mean, we're built to success. We don't need more successful people or famous people. We need people involved with society. Like, we're building a society based on being famous. We're only worried about being famous. And we don't need more famous people. Like, forget about it. It's not useful for anyone. Unless you're famous and then you do things for society. Then you have my appreciation for that. But I kind of feel I'm just answering whatever the fuck I want.
No, we're just talking. It's an open.
Okay.
You don't have, like, you can go on a tangent. It's totally fine.
Okay.
So how does the approach change when working with upcoming artists like Rosalía, or when you work with icons such as Madonna? Aside from the budget, obviously, what are like the core differences that you notice when approaching these projects? Also, there's an age difference, a generation difference. Like, you can
An experience difference, a huge experience difference. Like, Madonna knows what she's doing. Rosalía, she knows what she's doing because she actually trusts the people she chooses to do it. I'm not saying Madonna does not trust the people doing the music video, but I really think Rosalía is gonna be huge. Well, she's actually already huge. I'm still waiting what she's gonna do in her album, but next album. But that's like, she needs time to get on that. But Madonna, like, when you approach Madonna, there's much more respect at the beginning, and you feel less free. And with Rosalía, you feel with her music you can actually take risks because she's taking huge risks on her music also. And then you feel both of you are in the same boat to nowhere and going really fast, and you're like, okay, let's
trying not to drown.
Yeah, but let's experiment and let's do something weird. And with Madonna, you're like, okay, I'm gonna try and do this right because she's Madonna, like, she's the icon. I prefer Rosalía, but working with her, like, Madonna is really important, like, it's really, really, really big. It's really big, but the process with Rosalía is just trust, and with Madonna is approval.
Diana Kun seems to be in LA. Why do you enjoy working with her, and how do you guys divide the work, divide and conquer?
Oh, we don't divide and conquer. No. I mean, apart, like, she's my ally because, I mean, she's also my partner, my life partner. And we live absolutely, and we're searching for the same experiences, more or less, in life. Like, we want to live things. And every shoot we do, for some reason, we are going into, like, really hard and intense shoots. Like, all of them are during the night, extremely cold, horses, fire, explosions, people on fire. Not horses on fire. There's people on fire. Like, there's burned a guy in the road and run with a car. It's like, but we're looking for that experience. So we talk the same language, more or less. It's like a dark, subtle, elegant, extremely dangerous language.
Do you find a difference in the female perspective, or like not only in the way she sees things, but also in the way she approaches the job?
Yeah, she doesn't care about gender. And I think that's the next step. I think, like, whenever we get bored, I think we're getting an overload about gender equality, which is extremely good. But at the same time, she taught me that the most important thing is not gender, it's talent. And many times they're approaching her like, do you want to do this project? And she questions herself, is this because my talent or because I'm a woman? I've
heard this from other also female.
That's good.
Artists.
I mean, that should be the thing. Is like, I'm good. Like, I don't care if I'm a woman or I'm a man. I'm just good. And also in the film industry, is everyone is a man. And you get into a room, it's like, except for production, like, everyone is a man. And sometimes it feels like overwhelming. It's like, whoa, testosterone everywhere. And then comes Diana, she's tough.
I was looking at the video of James Blake and Rosalía called Barefoot in the Park. And I loved it because there were so many YouTube comments that was about the theory behind this. And I really, really would like to get an answer because people were so invested in what the whole, what does it mean? And this, they were so specific about what everything meant. So I really would like to give them an answer.
You want the truth? Yeah.
Yeah, please.
I mean,
exclusive. Johan's gonna love this.
I mean, it's not the truth. We had a plan at the beginning about how we would end the movie, but it was realistic, but during the shoot some things happened, and I mean the story is a circle. So the kids were supposed at the beginning and at the end, the story is about two kids that have a crash. They crash with the cars. They survive the crash. They come out the crash and they're staring to these cars. They end up walking in different directions. Young Rosalía, young James Blake. They walk, one to the left, one to the right. They walk through their lives. You can see their parents, you can see their friends, you can see the first time they approach death, they find a dead bird. They keep on walking until the end. You can see there's 3 different age shifts. They shift from being 3-year-old, 5-year-old until they're 10, and then when they're 10, they shift into what they're right now, actual James Blake and actual Rosalía. They get into their cars and they cross each other in the same cars where they had the crash. So, but they just pass through, and then they just see each other and remember it's just that beautiful moment where you're okay with life. It's and that's Barefoot in the Park. It's just being okay with who you are and feeling extremely grateful for your life. And then...
But you want to get into the symbolism? Now you explained the video, which we can all watch. Please go watch it on YouTube. But can you explain the symbolism? Because people were really invested, the bird represents, I don't know, something, and the bird represents death. Okay, death, we've gotten that far.
The parents balancing is just the balance of being a parent. How difficult is being a parent.
Very.
And how you're a kid and you see your parents arguing or whatever. It's your relationship with your parents that you're just balancing, because there's a line in the lyrics that talks about that. There's a million different things. I think I would prefer people just go
and have fun.
Yeah,
it's like a piece of art. Everybody can project their ideas onto it.
I mean, there's our interpretation, but normally with Diana, and that would be a trademark of ours when we do the music videos, we do it, everything has a meaning behind it, but we leave it more or less a bit open to people to make the effort and think about what they're seeing. That's another thing about our generation. It's not they just want everything masticado, chewed. We need them to actually think, and we're trying to do that. And we're using artists, musicians to actually spread the word. And I love it. With Rosalía, people are really thinking about it and writing about it.
It's beautiful.
I mean, I could be hours talking about that music video, but I feel I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
So we are here thanks to SEAT, who is sponsoring Primavera Sound Radio, and you did a very beautiful piece for SEAT. Can you tell us about it?
Yeah. The one in the festival or the one before?
The one with the foot and the head.
Okay, yeah. Because I did a sculpture here.
Okay, also. Tell us about the sculpture
the sculpture is, I prefer talking about that.
Okay.
There's more important things. Okay. I was going through a really tough moment, a breakup, leaving my apartment, and other stuff. And I was just stuck mentally and physically. I was not taking care about myself. I was not doing anything. I was not feeling healthy, neither mentally or physically. And then SEAT came to Creative, the production company where we work, and approached us. And Rafa the EP was doing this piece and thought it would be a cool idea to actually fit everyone together. So we had one sentence of a manifesto they wrote to interpret, and my sentence was we believe in moving forward. And it sounds stupid, I know it sounds like a sentence of a Furtin cookie, but it actually was. But I was that became like a mantra, like, okay, thinking about it, like, okay, we believe in moving forward. We believe, and I was stuck, and it was like, I have to move on with my life. And then that sentence became like a mantra, and it's like, okay, move forward, move forward, move forward. Like, what do I need to move forward? Like, I need my feet, I need my head. And then I thought, okay, that would be like the contrast thing. Like, I would need, like, it would be cool, like, say at those cars, obviously. Why can't I build like a huge foot and a huge head and drive them through the city? Like, first you see the foot and then you see the head. It will be perfect because first you move your body and your brain follows, because it's the only way. Then I started exercising, I started taking care about my body, and then my brain got better. And then I met Diana, and then everything, and now we're here. But it's, yeah, that's the thing. I mean, I built, like, it was a dream. Like, I couldn't, like, the day we were shooting, it's like, who said yes to this? It's like, who said yes to build like a 4-meter tall car? And there was a guy actually driving inside of it, inside of the two of them, and we're looking through little cameras, and we're driving through like only 2 streets. But it was fun. And then when I finished the project, it's like, okay, I'm capable of doing whatever I want. Like, that was just a phase, end up that phase, now I'm getting into a new one. I missed those cars, actually. I want to keep them, but I guess Seat has them somewhere, and I'm wishing they're using it for something else. The only thing is my head. Actually, the head, it's my head. I gave the guy pictures like, I want this face.
That's
because I wanted to be. I want to be driving my head. That was the perfect.
My face through Barcelona.
Yeah, it's like I'm driving my head. Cool. Like, that was so poetic for me in my head. It was like, I'm driving my head. I'm driving my head. And it's true. It's like you can control your head. So that's the contrast I was talking about. Like, I was having a hard time, but at the same time I was trying really hard to be fun and have fun. And I had fun, and the project was good. And now those heads are somewhere in Barcelona, I guess.
You also said that having fun is a really important part for you, just playing with things. Can you explain why that is important to you?
I think having fun, smiling is the best trigger for ideas. If you can make someone have fun and make their life better for 30 seconds, I think you've done something good for the day. And if I can do my projects, I can help my projects, even though I'm dark, I'm really dark. But there's always like a small joke in every dark scene. And the sculptures is the perfect example. Like, yeah, they're super fun. Yeah, I did it when I was like depressed.
So you would say that you channel your emotion through your work?
Yeah, always. There's always like what I'm feeling is the ideas come from what I'm feeling. And people have like need to relearn and have more fun. Like, people are bored, really bored. There's Tyler the Creator is the perfect example. His lyrics sometimes are super harsh, but at the same time he's having fun and he's laughing about himself and laughing about everyone. And I'm pretty sure he has some deep problems, like not mental, but I mean he's a bit having a hard time, but he's always having fun. It's like that guy for me is like the perfect example. I'm fucked, but I'm having fun.
So big brands are giving younger talents great opportunities to work with, and you were saying the difference between Rosalía and Madonna. How much are you willing to compromise when you accept now, with the experience that you've gathered, a new job from like a powerful client?
In terms of music? Like music?
What you compromise with your work. Like, what are the things that you're like, you know what, I can maybe have less fun, but it means this and this, or you're like, no, you know what, fun is my number one priority, and whatever job I accept, it's gonna be fun. You know what I mean? What are your compromises?
Money, and like money from one side. Like, I normally take projects to have fun, but normally the fun projects are unpaid.
Yeah.
Or paid like really like, hey, I'm a big brand, but I have a small budget. You're like, okay, can I have fun? Yeah, okay, I will take it.
Okay.
Or in terms of music, if we, I can speak in plural because I work with Diana a lot. Sometimes if the artist comes and says, like, if we see them, they're like true and real, if we see that what they're expressing in their music is real, we do it. If not, if we see it's fake, it's like, how much money you got? A lot? Okay, let's do it. If not, it's like, no, I'm not getting into a 2-month project if your music is not real.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
What does digital reality mean to you?
Okay. I could be speaking about that for hours,
Well,
but
give us hours.
making it short. I think it also has to go with the virtual reality thing. Like we've been building for 2 years or 3 years since Instagram appeared, an avatar of ourselves. And we're taking more time feeding that avatar, feeding that other us and the internet, and we're feeding it the whole day. Like our reality is not more like, when I mean reality, I mean physical objects and being touched and smelled and all this. And when I'm talking about digital reality, is that avatar we're building in the internet, which is getting bigger and not bigger, but it's getting more important every time. So I'm starting to not worry because we're doomed already. Like Instagram and Facebook have reorganized our brain, how our brain works. And we're hooked up to that, and it's gonna get bigger and bigger. There's this Instagrammer called...
Why though? I'm really interested why you think it's getting bigger and more important to have that virtual reality on Instagram or whatever. Why does it get
because
like
it's a
what
drug.
is it? Yeah.
It's a drug it's like we're addict to the mobile phones and we're addict to Instagram and to the likes. It was designed like that. It was designed to do that. There's like this programmer that went off and like started spreading the word. I don't remember his name. I think he's Indian, but he's like American Indian. I don't remember really. And he was talking about like, I'm sorry. He was taking apologies. Like we've been building a monster and we released it knowing that this was not safe. But here it is, and now here we are. I'm sorry. It's like, okay,
I think there's actually people in Silicon Valley now providing the opposite. Like they want to implement regulations on how they design stuff so we don't get that addicted. But continue.
We should go to rehab, all of us. No joke. Like just go to rehab. We have a big problem. We have a huge problem. I was talking, there's this Instagrammer called Lil Miquela, which is being big right now. And they're selling her like a robot. But they're missing the important things. Like she's not a robot. You're just using a real person to take pictures on it, and then you put like a 3D head on top of her. So they're building the avatar the other way around. There's like this internet celebrity that's coming to the real world without her face. We're using filters to put our face on Instagram, and she's using a real person to be in the real. It's so fucked up.
Yeah, the other way around.
Yeah, but they're just saying it's a robot because it's so difficult to explain that concept. But whenever they figured out how to do it, it will be great.
One of the things that I was super fascinated by, that I really, really loved, was the Constant Gardener. Could you describe to our listeners what that project looks like and what it means? Like I was totally fascinated by the whole concept. I'm like, oh my God, imagine this would be real. This is insane.
I think it's happening already.
Just explain first to the listeners how it looks like, because you're going to do it better than I.
This is a project I'm still working on it, and I actually want to do it for real. But I was in this hotel in Palo Alto, which is the weirdest place I've ever been to, that in the garage had like this amazing forest, like million plants in a garage. No
like,
sunlight.
Wait, what?
No sunlight.
Okay.
No sunlight. And he had rigged all these LED lights everywhere. And I was like, dude, this guy has a forest downstairs. He doesn't need light. And I asked him, like, no, I have like this lights with the flowers and they're growing, and then we have like water expensive with an app. And I was like, okay, so you have a robot taking care of your plants. It's like, you can call it a robot. So then I was imagining like, okay, what happens if in the future we're not taking care about plants? Mother Nature is not, and it's not important anymore. We have robots doing the job of Mother Nature. So I started designing this robot that is actually taking care and designing plants. He's designing beauty, like the beauty of nature. So I call him like Father Nature, more or less, because I think he's so fucked up. He's not even more like Mother Nature is more pure, and Father Nature is not pure enough. It's just a robot designing nature. Like evolution is not more important. Like he's gonna design the plants. He's gonna design how the nature looks like from now on. So I did these videos of this robot like taking care and growing plants, amazing plants, like with light, made out of glass, made out of metals. Nature is not going to be important anymore in the future because robots are going to build it.
That's insane.
I could explain it better actually, but I think
I think you should go on his website and check it out. And yeah, you will figure it out for yourself. So just the last question for today. How important is music in your work and life?
Sometimes like I have this question about what would I decide if it would be blind or deaf, and I still don't have an answer for that. I think if I'm blind, I won't be able to make any money, but if I'm deaf, I won't be able to listen to music, which without music I get extremely depressed. But every morning I try to play music, every night, during my work, every day there's music on, always, because I need to mute the ear channel, but I need to mute it with something beautiful. So I'm trying to listen to more music and more music and more music and like feeding it. So without music, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now. And I don't think I would be talking here at all. And now that I'm getting into music videos, it's even better because you are able to work with musicians that you always not dream, but respect them. And without music, like there's no way I would be doing anything. Like I would be depressed, extremely depressed. I don't want to live without music. So
that's a beautiful way to end the interview.
I don't want to live without music.
Thank you, Mau Morgó, for being here. This is Created in Barcelona, and I'm Maike Gabriela. Have a nice day. Music is an important part of this show, and when we asked Mau who he'd like to perform after his interview, he chose his friend Aleix Clavera, founding member of Extraperlo and habitual collaborator with El Guincho, who has also been very busy with the solo electronic project Ulldeter. Live from our studios at Abaixados Deu, here is Ulldeter.
Recordo torno a estar sol. D'una sola cosa pots estar segur, que jo ho faig tan bé com puc. Vull ser pròxim a tothom i no ho aconsegueixo. Vull tocar-ho tot i ho vull provar. Cal anar descalça a la vora del riu. Sempre he somiat amb un lloc màgic. Ja no somio, s'ha acabat el màgic. El talent no és per sempre, no és per sempre. Mira una banda, mira l'altra banda. A una banda es mors i a l'altra banda es mors. A una banda es mors i a l'altra banda es mors. A una banda es mors i a l'altra banda es mors. Entre la ciutat no és només a la ciutat. A una banda es mors i a l'altra banda es mors. Sempre que ho recordo torno a estar sol. Miro la pantalla i em sembla que ja no, que estic a prop i ja ho tinc tot. Vull ser pròxim a tothom i no ho aconsegueixo. Vull tocar-ho tot i ho vull provar. Això no és aigua, no, això no mulla. Canvia la fulla. Si cal d'un arbre nou, si llenço fins de cap a l'aire i llenço un puny i una ratlla. El meu gest no es pot corrompre. Tu no m'aprovis és quan l'esperit vola. Si mai no ho entendràs, no preguntis. Si el teu codi no és el meu, no preguntis. Si el teu sol no és el meu, no preguntis. Si el que tu veus no és el que veig jo, no preguntis. Canvia la fulla, si cal d'un arbre nou. Si llenço el pinzell cap a l'aire, jo llenço el punt i una ratlla. Jo no dibuixo perquè a tu t'agradi. Jo ja no canto perquè a tu t'agradi. Crec que està bé que estigui al meu món i tu connectis sense la raó. El meu gest no es pot corrompre. Tu no m'aprovis és quan l'esperit vola. Canvia la fulla, si cal d'un arbre nou.
You've listened to another episode of Created in Barcelona. My name is Maike Gabriela, and thank you for listening.